Today we're going to be talking with Brandy Crenshaw.
Brandi is a public speaker, a model, an energy transmutationist, and she has some phenomenal work she's doing with her new jewelry line. Let's see if we can catch up with her to give us more details.
Hey, brother. I'm sorry. Hey, you threw me off. You threw me off. You threw me off. How are you, Queen Sister?
I'm doing excellent, extremely well.
As always, I'm close by you, and I would like to pick you up to see if you would drive while black with me. Are you interested?
I'm definitely interested, yes.
Well, give me a few moments, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, excellent. All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Let's go get Brandy. Hey, pretty Brand.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm extremely well.
Speak to everybody.
Hey, you guys.
And say who you are. I gave a little bit of description, but say who you are.
A little bit.
Yeah, get comfortable. We got a nice driver here.
All this
I
hair.
see we always got a nice. That is a lot of hair. It's beautiful though. It's beautiful.
I am Brandy Crenshaw.
Crenshaw.
Yes, aka Pretty Brand. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Flipagram. Pretty Brand is a play on my name. My friend Renisha, who used to work at Monty's Salon, gave me that name.
I know her.
Yes, Renisha Jones.
Yeah.
Yes, she's an amazing cosmetologist.
Okay.
She actually was the person who kind of like nudged me in the direction of modeling. And I do full figure modeling, curvy girl.
You know, when I told my queen about you,
Yes.
whenever I tell anybody or a modeling conversation comes up, if I'm anywhere, and it's not like I'm into fashion and be in a lot of places where that happens, but I always say, because of our interactions on Facebook, like, I know a model named Brandy. It never comes out to me to say I know a plus size model, because that just didn't seem, I don't want to say right, but because some folks may like it, so I don't want to seem
They
that.
like to distinguish.
But
that.
it seems like if you're a model, you're a model.
Well, if you look at people like Ashley Graham, who are making, advancements and allowing for fuller figured women to be seen in magazines and publications such as, Sports Illustrated. It matters when you talk about distinguishing size, because there is no, at this point, there is now a platform being built for people who are, I would say, size 10 and above. And I think that goes back to the original standards that were set in fashion. And because the designers wanted the smaller figures, because first of all, they want the tall figures, so that when they are displaying their garments, you can see them if you're in the audience and they're tall and, wispy. Whereas when you put a curvy model in that same garment, those designers may not believe that it's doing their garment justice, unless they are designing for curvy models, for curvy figures. And at this point in the game, everyone's getting on the bandwagon. So it's actually a good thing that we have plus models, because we are changing the industry and the way that the industry does what they do.
Okay.
I worked for Full Figure Fashion Week. I was on the production staff in 2017.
What is that?
That is like the plus. That is the Oscar of plus size.
Really?
Yes, that's actually
Say the
one of
name
their
of it again, because I
hashtags.
might not be the only one who's never heard of it. Say the
Full
name.
Figured Fashion Week. It
Okay.
is a production put on by Gwen DeVoe out of New York.
Okay.
And I believe they're in their, I don't want to quote this incorrectly, but I believe it's 10 years this
Okay.
year. The 10th year. And actually, I have to put this out there. They have this ongoing part of the Full Figure Fashion Week community where they have the face of Full Figure Fashion Week. And we have a North Carolinian, because this is a New York-based organization.
Really?
But we have this year, well, 2017, we had Mallory B. Richardson was named the face of Full Figure Fashion Week, and she is a North Carolina resident.
Really?
Yes, and she's a
Okay,
model based
Mallory.
here. Yes.
Shout out to Mallory.
Yes, shout out to Mallory.
Okay.
But yes, but that organization has had a major part to play in giving the full figure community more limelight, more,
indeed.
you know,
Indeed.
we are just as good as a standard size model is the
Yes.
premise. See, I started in modeling in 2013. I had lost my job after 14 years and was very depressed and was just scrolling on Facebook and came across a model call. And that's how it started for me. Like, essentially, I was in a very bad place. And modeling allowed for me to reignite my self-confidence, because I had really gotten depleted in corporate America. It is very easy for a person that looks like me.
Of course.
So I know how to say what I need to say. And
Yes.
sometimes in corporate America, being black, we're riding while black, but you know, typing while black, communicating while black is not
Right.
always acceptable. This
Right.
is an individual path. Like, most people, if they're not black, cannot really truly understand the
Indeed.
racism that still we exist. We still exist and experience racism. The actual networks that I've created just by authentically being myself. People draw to you, and I know you can. I know you can.
That's a fact.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
that's a fact.
people draw to you. If
That's
you
right.
are on your path and you are going in a positive direction,
They're sent
people
to
are
you.
going to come to you.
That's right.
And if you're on a negative path, they're going to come to you too.
You transitioned from confidence and using, modeling for confidence to actually it becoming a tool
Yes.
and expanding your horizons in other areas. Speak of those other areas.
Well, number one, the first thing that comes to my mind, my affinity with crystals. That came into play where I used to be a major Pandora lover, meaning Pandora jewelry.
Okay.
I mean, I had bracelets galore, necklaces, and I went through some changes in my life during modeling. Financial changes, just keeping it 100.
Right.
Like, and essentially, I had to let some of those things go. And by letting some of those things go, essentially purging, to maintain myself, because I'm an individual that's single and I'm not the type of person to, go out there and ask, for assistance. I find a way within myself to get myself to the next level. And that's what I've done.
I understand.
I use my Pandora jewelry to help me rather than going and asking this one and that one.
Right.
I'm not ashamed of that.
Right.
Whereas some people have asked me, like, where's your jewelry? Like, because it became part of my brand. I'm modeling in pretty much in every picture. I have a crown on my neck. It was one of my major charms, a major significant charm that I had to let go of. So to me, that became part of my
That's powerful.
uplifting myself. Let that crown go for your real crown. So that situation with me letting go of my Pandora allowed for me to open up to crystals, and crystals have expanded my journey even further. So it's like, now I'm on to the next.
You were telling me that, because when I asked you if you had the name of the company, you said no. And it wasn't a no like you didn't want to tell me. It was a no that you didn't have one.
As far as my company
Yes,
for crystal
for the
jewelry
crystals.
making, the reason I do not have a name, okay, let me back up a little bit because I didn't really touch on this. After I got into crystal work, because I like to look at it as crystal work. Meaning because crystals vibrate, just like we are vibratory beings, I see crystals as also vibratory beings. They actually emanate a frequency that is consistent. So whereas we have a vibration that's varying, it goes up and down depending on various factors. Crystals have a set frequency. So what they do for us is they allow us to kind of get our tuner, which I believe is what we are doing when we are dealing with our attitude and we're monitoring how we are acting about something. If we have a bad attitude, you realize that that bad attitude is going to continue to bring more negative things to you.
Indeed.
But that constant tuning is what we're doing when we're like, fix your attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. Okay. Crystals do that for you. Like they assist. Like that quartz right there sitting chilling on you is allowing for your chakra, your vortexes, the vortices that we have in our body to spin uninterrupted. Crystals allow for you because they are a conduit to assisting us with understanding our subtle energies, the subtle shifts that occur day to day, like moment to moment. You could have any type of thought throw you off. Those types of things are subtle energies. Shifts in your energy can create roots of bitterness and create cancer. So I started making jewelry from the crystals that I purchased. My goal was, when I first started getting them, because I would not research, I would go in there and let the crystals choose me. So as I had already, you know, amassed this large group of just various crystals, I just started looking online and I saw wire wrapping videos where people were taking crystals and wire wrapping them such as this and making beautiful pieces out of it. And I'm like, I have all of this stuff here, let me try it. I tried it and it was like second nature. It came to me. So I just started creating, and I have a lot of, you know, I mean, that is a whole nother topic. So my point is, with the crystals, the reason I don't feel the need to give it a name, because I feel like that's kind of, at this stage of where I am with it. At first, okay, let me back up. When I did post the first pieces that I made, I just tagged myself Pretty Brands Deliberate Creations. Because I am a deliberate creator. Like I told you, I work on my frequency. I'm monitoring my frequency. I am adjusting my frequency. I'm consciously, deliberately creating what's happening to me. Crystals, I feel like for me to try to, because every situation of who I need to sell them to has come to me. Like, the people have come to me. Like, people that I need to sell my crystals to, if I need to give my crystals to, those people come to me. It is a love giving, love offering, a love receiving task when I make my jewelry. So at this stage, I'm gonna let people come to me or me gravitate to them when the opportunities are needed for me to exchange my pieces. I was introduced to crystals from a lady named Crystal. It's kind of crazy. Her nickname is Coco, but she is a producer. You might even know her, but she actually just said, let's take a ride one day. She was my friend at the time, and she just basically were like, let's go take a ride. We went to this store in Raleigh, and I had no idea where I was going. So I feel like this situation happened to me versus me actually going in and strategically, let me go and introduce myself to crystals. No, I was kind of like forced into it, kind of like. So I get into the store, and immediately I feel like energy shift. Like, I go in and it's like, ooh, like, I don't know any words to describe that feeling, but that sound probably did it. Like, it's like almost orgasmic, okay? Just to keep it, you know, 100. But I'm like, ooh, what is this feeling? And I look, and it's just this room, beautiful crystals. I picked up about 7 crystals. Every one that I gravitated to and just picked up, I chose those crystals. Do you know those crystals help the next part of my path unfold? And that meant going within. And the crystals speak to me. I believe they speak to anyone who has the ear to hear them. You may not hear them, you may feel them. We all have a certain clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance. I mean, we all have some gift. Each individual has some ability that is extrasensory. That's my belief system.
Right.
Even people who may have debilitating disease, mental disorders, they all bring some kind of gift to the table.
Indeed.
So crystals for me, they speak to me, and I know who I need to give them to too. That's another thing. I've had situations where people are like, I really want to get something, but I don't have the money. I will give it to them. If my heart and my knowing of that crystal says it needs to go to them, it goes to them, and I don't think about it anymore. I have pieces that I've made that people at my job primarily, they'll come to me and they're like, you know, you made this and that. And I'm like, I don't even remember. Because once it's gone, it's off doing its own duty. Like, I don't have to consider it after that point. It's, you know, blessed me, and now it's time to bless someone else. That's kind of how crystals are for me. So I got some of my pieces here. I was mentioning about my lapis lazuli. It is a blue crystal.
Okay.
And I believe in the chakra system. Some
course.
people do not believe in that, but I do, because through my life path, and I don't like to refer to anything that doesn't resonate with me.
Right.
If it resonates with me, I will know internally, okay, that's part of my understanding of life. With the chakra system, understanding that the throat chakra, which is signified with the color blue, the lapis lazuli is a throat chakra crystal, in that it resonates a vibration that allows for clear communication for me. You know, I wear this only when I feel the need or the thought, and I have my crystals in like a crystal garden situation at home. I even take them to work. In my workplace, I bring them, and I don't leave them. I bring them home. But this morning when I was, you know, getting ready to come out here, I decided, you know, let me grab something that's going to promote clearer communication, even though I know I don't need anything inanimate.
Right.
But support is always good.
Indeed.
You don't need another human, but support is always good.
Always.
You know what I mean? So I wore my lapis, and I brought a couple of pieces just to show some of the things that I right now am loving. I love amethyst. This is a piece that I made. It's a little wire wrapped amethyst. This spiral is an important feature for me, in that I believe it represents the vortex. The vortex, which is, first of all, our chakra system is like spiraling energy.
That's right.
We have them in our palms, we have them on top of our head, we have them all over.
That's right.
But whenever you put a spiral with a crystal, I believe it magnifies the energy direction that you're sending. So sometimes I will put a spiral on a crystal, and sometimes they just free flow. I have a distributor for my jewelry. Like, I actually have a young lady who I've sold some pieces to, not many, but enough, because she has a business with other just other fashion pieces that she's been putting out there. Mine is her natural line, and that's, I was like, natural line, made me think of natural hair, but I'm like, okay, because all of the pieces include a natural crystal. So she comes to me. I didn't know that I was gonna have that outlet, but I was making it, and I had a whole inventory of rings.
Right. For people who's, you know, for the business aspect of it, for people who do want to contact you, possibly book you for things, how can they contact you? All your avenues.
The best way to connect with me is Brandy Crenshaw, and Brandy is spelled with an I, Crenshaw, Crenshaw, and that's on Facebook. Twitter and Instagram are all at Pretty Brand, and Pretty Brand is Pretty, Pretty, Brand, BRAND, and that is again a play on my name. It's a nickname that Renisha gave to me. So yeah, hit me up in any form of those. Again, I'm on Flipagram, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I have a Facebook page dedicated to my old modeling pictures, like old meaning 2 years and back, and that's Brandy, Pretty Brand Crenshaw.
Thank you for driving while black with me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You guys make sure you keep an eye out for Brandy. Even if she doesn't have a name for any of the things that she does, you keep an eye out for her, and you follow on her social media and everything. And
all 3 eyes.